Google, boys.
All this time I figured it was LGA, you know?
Oh, he's going to get you getting all fancy, yeah. Oh.
And Hummingbird is run by click-throughs.
Well, yeah. Hummingbird has nothing to do.
A long time ago, I told you that.
It had nothing to do with query reformatting, it's got everything to do with it.
Jim's Ghostwriter. Steve.
Yeah. Wow. That's it. I'm just gonna put a pretend conference on and send all three of those guys free invitations, and then burn the place down. Worth it. It'll be worth it. All right, folks, we're back on the air for another week. Welcome to SEO Dojo, and we're doing a bit of a New Year's party here, so enjoying myself. I'm gonna go left to right, I guess, since my so I am, because today Google Toolbox is not working. The Hangout Toolbox. All right, Bill, say hello to everyone who you are and what you have to do these days.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Slawski. I'm the Director of SEO Research for Go Fish Digital, an SEO company working out of Virginia and North Carolina. I'm in Carlsbad, California, because I enjoy the sun and warm weather.
Yeah, that'll do it. Did you figure out your mystery plant?
I think it's. I think I have an idea now. Yeah.
I think it's Martinez or who was somebody came up with something for you there.
Edward Lewis.
Edward Lewis.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he validated it.
Yo,
I love Edward Lewis. He's awesome.
Well played. All right, Doc Sheldon.
Doc Sheldon, Intrinsic Value SEO. Just this week has been pretty laid back. Most of my clients are shut down for the holidays, so I decided I'd just kind of semi-shut down too. And looking forward to getting New Year's behind me and into a new year.
I see you're all bundled up. What is it? A balmy? It's a freezing 60-something there?
It's not a minus like you, but for my old bones, it might as well be.
Nice.
And
Mr.
I've got
James
my
Morris.
gloves on.
Mr. Morris.
Yes, sir. Yeah, James Morris, one of the support specialists at WPMU Dev, old school SEO. Kind of been out of the industry for a little while, but trying to get back into it and get back up to speed.
Yeah, he's one of the OGs from the dojo. Terry, you remember the days when our hangouts were just a Friday with 4 or 5 of us? I think it was James and Steve and Aaron, and it wasn't too many of us back then, that's for sure. All right, Keith, you're up. Oh, is Keith a silent partner? No, he's there. All right.
Hey guys, Keith Evans out here in Boise. It's a balmy 23 degrees. I work actually for DexYP, marketing consultant. Also do quite a bit with small business owners. My focus is primarily local and helping on the SEO. I have been involved for about 20 plus years. My big thing was I started with press releases for as a marketing consultant, and suddenly the site started ranking, and I'm like, what's going on here? And that's what sucked me in for the last 15 years.
Nice. Sam, are you going to at least speak up there, buddy? Or are you still playing with your nuts? I think he's still playing with his nuts over there. All right. Terry.
Terry Van Horn. Yeah.
You forgot who he is.
What?
Wake up.
I don't know. What do I do? Lots of stuff. You name it, I do it.
Good.
Don't want to limit
Mr.
myself.
Steve, Mr. Steve G, if we could interrupt your lunch there.
Howdy. Steve Gritzer, steam as in the hot water driven media. If there's a Google rule, we can break it, and we'll piss off all kinds of people doing it. Or not. Depends on what the customer wants to do.
Mr. Plunkett.
You're muted, Steve.
You're muted, Steve.
All right, here
You're
we
muted.
go. There's a quote by Picasso, right? And it is, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting all
Good.
intelligent.
Okay, who am I? I'm Steve Plunkett, a.k.a. formerly known as the DJ as Paisley Amoeba. And I do SEO for Fortune 500 companies. I break things in Google under their supervision, and I experiment all the time.
Never say testing. As long as you're experimenting, we're good. Tim.
I'm Tim Calling. I own a Servant's Heart web design and marketing. Work mostly with services that provide help for the elderly, including home health care and hospice and things like that. Do an awful lot of local SEO and small business related SEO.
There we go. Thank God. We're done. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. That was a great show. All right. So, you know, I think I want to do at least a couple things. And I don't think either diverges from each other because, I don't know. But there's, you know, it's that time of year. It's our last one of the year. So I guess we could look back at the year that was and then, you know, move on to the year that's coming. Interesting enough, since I was doing this topic, I found this. Hold on here. Let me suck it first. Yeah, of course. Because they just gotta do that to me. 20 years of SEO, a brief history. Now, for you first generation guys, I thought this was kind of awesome because apparently it started in 97. Wow.
Wait a minute. Go to my article that says 24 years in SEO.
Well, apparently not. Sorry, bro.
Right?
Because according to this thing,
it says 24 years. That's when I started doing SEO, and I pulled something out for every single year.
Apparently, well, 94 Yahoo was created. 96 was PageRank. 97 is apparently when they're saying that Danny Sullivan launched Search Engine Watch. So I don't know. So that's when it started because Danny, I don't know.
Oh, so there was no search until Danny started Search Engine Watch.
According to Lauren Baker, apparently Lauren's.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing that, well, whatever.
There you go. How about that one? Put in 24 things, SEO years, right? Let's see. 1993, page speed. We had dial-up modems, right? There you go.
Google AdSense. Local SEO personalization. See, I don't really know. Oh, Big Daddy. Oh my gosh, remember that one?
Yep.
Jagger. Yeah, remember that one. See, I don't know. Does brief do anything, any justice to anything? I don't know. I don't think so. Then we got pandas and penguins. Oh my. Things not strings. One of Bill's favorite topics. Yeah. All right, so 2017 apparently this is a list of panelists that were giving ranking factors, boys. And SEM Rush is first on the list. I'm not sure if anyone caught that one this year, but I did. I'm pretty sure Bill did too. So, okay. HTTPS, does that make anyone's radar really?
What an idiot.
Big time. Big time, dude. Big time.
It's no ranking factor. It's a signal. It's not a factor. Otherwise, you wouldn't find HTTP, many of them in the top. Sorry.
Okay, wait.
It makes no sense to make that a ranking factor. None. It has no value from a relevant standpoint.
Well, by that,
go ahead, Bill.
It doesn't impact relevance in any way whatsoever. A site
Right.
isn't more relevant because it's HTTPS than it is because it's HTTP.
but they will take a site down out of the rankings, knock it down or take it totally out of the index entirely if it is insecure and passing malware. Okay, so I don't know that it's safe to make a pat statement that because it's not a relevance factor.
Those aren't equivalent.
It will impact a site negatively in the financial and healthcare
sector. Doesn't mean passing malware.
Too many people at once. I couldn't understand anybody.
I said what you said aren't equivalents.
Right, getting taken out of the index for malware isn't the same as a ranking factor.
But that doesn't mean it's passing malware.
And Google said themselves that the way that it might affect the rankings is if you had two sites of equal relevance, everything being equal. If one is HTTP and one is HTTPS, they might give the heads the nod.
My guess, Terry, that's going to be your money and your life queries anyways, right?
Yeah, they said a slight advantage.
Yeah, and again, I don't see, outside of your money and your life type queries, I don't even see how that would be relevant.
But as someone who's changed a few over, I have seen little to no impact. In fact, usually you
get a drop while the 301s kick in.
This rankings for a short period of time while all the links are re-graphed.
Well, I agree with that. I've changed quite a few over, and I have seen little to no gain for it after the thing settled out again. So I never expected it to be much, but I don't know that I just don't think it's safe to make a pat statement that it is not a factor because we don't know. And I think
we don't know that. We don't know how much.
How can it be a factor then? Right? If it's a factor, you would know. How can it be an unknown and be a factor? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, Doc. Sorry.
Well, there's an awful lot of things that we have surmised, that they have hinted at, that our testing has shown to be factors, but we don't know. Okay, I mean, you got to think of the definition of the word "know" to be beyond a shadow of a doubt, have knowledge of it. A lot of it is still conjecture.
Well, yeah. Well, look at it. Look at this little phrase right here. He recommended switching to HTTPS to help with conversions and building trust. Yeah, because the average fucking user looks up and sees that and knows what it means. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Sure, okay. How about content length? This is a funny one because I've seen over the years less than 1,000 words, and then it was over 1,000 words. Now I think people are saying 1,500.
I read one today that 2,500 was the
2,500. Wow, that's new.
Based on some ridiculous survey. Like, where do these people get their information? Someone puts their head up a hole, and that's how we get our information.
I was joking with Steve earlier that I was running around Facebook and everything, every question I saw, I was just putting, it depends. I just kept answering everything with that. It depends, because that's the fucking answer, boys.
That's true. When it comes
some
to
queries,
signals,
some queries, some queries a sentence will do you.
Right. First of all, most SEOs call a ranking signal a ranking factor.
Right. Yep.
That's a common mistake that a lot of them make. Yep. You have to kind of, like, to me, a factor usually shows up real quick. Like, if you change a title, you're going to see changes. If I change a navigation menu that's on every page, I'm going to see a ranking change. Those are ranking factors. The others, if it doesn't really show you anything when you do it, it's not a factor. It's probably a signal.
Okay, moving on to keywords. As Dan Teese once famously said in one of our shows, he said, it's important that any page you have has a keyword on it or a word on it in general. So 35% of domains don't have the keyword in the title. This suggests that Google's algorithms are getting better at. Now, I find that interesting because that actually means that 65% do. Wouldn't that be the way you'd want to state that? I'm curious that why you'd make us think over 35% instead of the 65%. Maybe my math skills are off here or something, boys, but yeah.
That's backwards.
Yeah. Well, again, the title tag and what Google decides to show is often, different. Dr. Pete did some interesting shit when they started changing stuff lately, something like that. Website traffic. Uh-huh. Yeah. Apparently, the traffic to your site does not appear to have an impact on your rankings. Oh, I've literally had to argue this with people lately on some of these.
Who wrote this?
Sorry?
Who wrote this?
Oh no, this is just a bunch of people from some SMX or something. I think I'm trying to get past the SEM Rush stuff.
From the SEM Rush study.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to somebody else. General trends, paid load time. Okay, all right. Not a massive ranking factor. Okay, for page loads, page speed. That's something. Oh, search metrics now. So we've got this SEM Rush to search metrics. Oh, this is great. This is classic stuff. Oh, it's Marcus Tober, Terry. Remember him?
Oh, yeah. Very well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So I think this is all just getting painful. Site speed,
Dave,
HTTPS.
I will say something there.
Metadata.
I kind of agree with that. Ranking factors change for industry. I would agree with that.
Unlike SEM Rush and search metrics, this person found that titles can have an impact.
Oh my God!
Fucking, who are these people? Oh God.
Next.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's all there is for these geniuses. So there we go.
Here's the problem with things like this, Dave. Go up a tiny bit, right?
Oh shit! Hold on. Let me get that. All right, go ahead. I can still see it.
There are more than a few cases, right, that when people are clicking certain types of sites in a SERP, universal search picks that up and that changes what goes into the SERP, not the ranking, but how they make or build the SERP. That, does anyone agree with that? That's something I've been.
Again, you know what I mean? Like, not only the universal, but geographic and temporal and this and that. They're like Terry, you remember I think it was when we first met around 2007, 2008 or something. We got people all over the states and stuff to do different searches for us because we wanted to check and see what personalization, how much it was affecting stuff and things like that. And we were quite surprised to see how no two SERPs were really the same. You know what I mean? Especially for quasi generalized searches and stuff of that nature.
However, just not to cut you off, Dave, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
We should revisit that for the simple reason Doc will confirm that I was doing the research on those ambiguous terms, right? And we did find that no matter where you search, you got the same results.
On more ambiguous stuff?
Or pretty close to the same.
So what you're saying is mix some ambiguous in with some more informational or standardized kind of queries and stuff.
I would say that on ambiguous queries, that kind of local intent goes out the window.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
You can search from almost anywhere, and the localization of the search, which is kind of part of
I still get a feeling that a lot of people not obviously the crowd I run with and stuff, but newer people, because I've been out trying to participate with the younger folk, and I don't think they really get that. I don't think they really understand that query spaces are fluid and adaptive these days. That what they're seeing on their computer and what their client is seeing on their computer is not necessarily what everyone else is seeing in different places and different
Yeah. Well,
Like
here's
Keith, 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 I want to get you in here for a second, since we don't even know who the hell you are. At least I don't. Maybe someone here does. But Keith, like you work in local, right? You and Tim.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you must get that a lot if you've got clients that are anywhere near you, meaning, you know, you have to deal with those questions of I'm seeing this, but I'm seeing this, or my employee's seeing that, and like they're all seeing something different,
All
even
the
from
time.
site links to rankings to like. How do you try to explain that to them?
Well, some of them are fairly sharp, that they understand the cache memory. They understand that if they keep, go to their favorite site, it might show up. Because, I try to explain to the customer, Google is really nothing more than a tool, right? It's trying to give you the best results. And if you keep going back to your favorite attorney website, when you search for your local attorney, it says, oh, hey, you want this. What I typically try to do is I actually go into the Google AdWords preview tool, and then I'll type in the local state, the English, desktop version, etc., and at least try to give them a more top-level view of saying, hey, let's really look at this genuinely, or let's pick a device, ask the secretary, ask someone else to search for something that they've never searched before, and it gives them a more realistic point of view of, aha, that's the more common ranking results.
Tim, I guess, do you get that too with your clients, that, you know what I mean, like them and their uncle and their brother are seeing different things? And
yeah,
like, how do you generally try to explain that to them?
I tell them it depends on the location of the actual searcher, and that their brother-in-law in the western part of LA is not going to see what they see in the eastern part of LA, and so forth. It's and in fact, there are some good tools that are free that I can offer to people to use to see how that affects the search. Tools that let you simulate being in a particular location. And then I make them understand that they need to pay us reasonable amounts of money to help.
I was going to say more amounts of money, because this is very complicated stuff here.
Every time something changes with Google and everybody bitches and moans about it, to me, it's a new opportunity to make more money and also to help my clients outrank their competitors.
All right. Well, since I'm trying to round up 2017 a bit before I move on, you two local fellers, and anybody else that's doing local, I don't really do local. What are the more significant changes from 2017 that are like on your radar, or things that you had to adapt to, or things that you are planning for next year? What kind of local SEO stuff changed for you guys this year? For anybody who does it, I don't do local stuff.
Well, I would say I'm keeping an eye on a couple of things. One is that Google is engaging in more and more disintermediation, more and more things like the local service ads, where right now it's plumbers and locksmiths and I forget who else they're doing it with, where they'll make you pay for leads, and they vet you, and they offer a guarantee. That's probably a very attractive thing to consumers to see. Google guarantees up to $2,000 that you'll have a good experience working with this locksmith or whoever. Well, I promise you that's going to start rolling out to not only more cities, but also to more industry niches. And considering the reputation that people in the elder care space sometimes have, like the niche that I care about, I would not be surprised to see that beginning to happen in elder care, home health care, and so forth in the next year or two. So I'm keeping an eye on that big time.
Mr. Plunkett, you were waving around over there. Did you got something on the local level you want to throw in?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I got you.
Sign up for bookings on Google. Here's some of your providers available for local people that do the booking. So a lot of your services stuff, think about it with Tim's talking about. You actually have providers you can choose. Google's actually giving you your own website. You can build your own website on Google with your local listings. So this is what we provide, you know, and then the other part is going back to this, you've got a lot of stuff with Google, because Google My Business, I think, is way more important than Google Analytics right now for local, because what I want to know is, okay, of my searches, 3.6 of them direct and 96.4 were searching for a category, product, or service. This is unbranded search. This is branded search. Where do people see you? They see you, you know, then they got listings on maps. What did they do? Visit your website, request directions, call you, you know, when do they call? You know, all those kind of things you can do. You know, photos. I think Bill Archer put out a thing about photos working, but, you know, photos work. So there's all kinds of things that are going on. But, you know, we see our reviews here and the reuser thing, because at this point you now need to go in. Let's see. You need to go in and put thank you very much and put Catherine, right? This is what SEO is now. You've got to respond back to reviews. The more I respond back to these reviews, the more I'm going to pull up in Google search results, because I'm tending to the clients that are visiting my pages.
Kind of the counter to that, Steve, is helping in situations where your competitors are putting up fake reviews, especially reviews from employees or others.
Oh, totally. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Wait a
There's a brand new ruling or whatever pronouncement out from Google Plus about that.
Where is? See.
You got C-section, Steve.
I can't find it. Damn it. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna. I was looking for one of them. There are people now that are creating Google Local Guide accounts and just going in and spamming negative reviews, because I found a person that lives in a particular locality, and I found where they live, because you can basically see where they live based on what they consume within a particular area based on zip code in their reviews. So here's my question. If the dude lives in this area, why is he reviewing hotels?
Okay.
Negative?
Now, see, here's the thing. I mean, Bill, you want to come with me on this one? I've seen more than a few patents and papers and stuff from Google as far as, I guess, sentiment analysis, as well as what, you know, it's they call it that, but it's also about review spam and stuff like that. Our Bill, you can chime in after this. I've seen them look at the IPs and stuff like you're talking about, but also, you know, if someone's getting paid to do negative stuff, what Google would find in some of the reports and the research papers was, you know, the guy's got like a 10-to-1 ratio of negative against, or you know, to positive, meaning he's running around leaving negative against all of someone's competitors because that's what he does. Or maybe they're just an asshole and they just run around leaving negative reviews. But I think, you know, I don't know what's actually in place, but I've seen enough information that I think they're aware of it. Anyways, Bill, will you say anything like that?
Yeah, the patents I see in that area tend to refer to it as location-based spam. They talk about following the logins and identifying the IP addresses that they log in at and where those are located, and how realistic it is as to whether or not they actually reviewed a place that they've written a review of, if they've actually visited in person. There's a patent that came out.
Right, like he was in Dallas yesterday. Now all of a sudden he's in New York. The next day he's down in San Jose. You know what I mean? Like there's patterns.
Right. The guy writing reviews of Paris restaurants while in Houston is kind of questionable.
Well, no, bad reviews of Dallas hotels in Dallas. For someone who lives in Dallas, why are you writing bad reviews of Dallas hotels a lot?
Yeah, but again, spammer people are going to have a different pattern than that. That's temporal as far as timing goes. How many a day, where they're, like you're saying, could be Dallas, could be New York the next day. People that are doing this kind of stuff professionally as a service, there's patterns that show up.
I can tell you that this is a cause of a lot of frustration and anger by people who are on the complaining about this on the Google discussion forum, the community there, and it doesn't seem to a lot of us that they're doing anything yet about enforcing, fake review.
Google did come out with the patent 2 weeks ago that said that they'd be using your Android tracking device to check to see if you actually go to the places you're reviewing. And if you live nearby a place that you've reviewed and you don't revisit it, you don't go back to it after a certain amount of time, they may lower the ranking you gave a place. So if you review a restaurant really favorably and then never ever go there again, they might wonder if something about that restaurant has changed.
I did see that.
Or maybe that restaurant is just really expensive and you only go there once a year.
Right. I had people comment on my post saying, well, that doesn't work with accountants or lawyers. And I'm saying, yeah, but you know local, you should know that. And the patent's written for you so that you can, as somebody who understands that concept, and the fact that they might apply some type of decay factor to rating scores. If you're going to get people to rate places, have them return to those places and write new reviews every once in a while. A 5-year-old review doesn't help a lot of people.
I was in a barbecue joint yesterday. They said I get a free sandwich if I write a Facebook or a Yelp review.
Doesn't surprise me.
There you go. One of the things that I noticed.
I don't have a Yelp or a Facebook account. Sorry.
If you're on their Wi-Fi when you leave it, then that may lead to an unnatural concentration of reviews from that IP address. You'd think that they would do something with that. So far, it doesn't appear that they're doing anything. Maybe they will. On a more positive sort of angle on this, everybody on this call really should be a local guide and be leaving reviews for one reason, and that is the higher up you go in the local guides, the more likely it is that they will accept your changes when you make them. Like if you see a competitor is creating a bunch of location spam, the odds are better that you're marking them as being spam or moved or never existed. It's more likely that they'll be accepted than subjected to waiting for confirmation by another local guide.
They put little.
Steve G, did you have something there, or you just like stomp on his stuff? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Bill.
So they're also putting little local guide badges next to your reviews when you leave them.
Yep, they are.
Local guide.
And there are levels of local guides that depend upon a number of factors. The number of guides, the number of reviews you leave, the number of photos you post with them, and also how many people see your photos and mark them as being helpful in your reviews and see them as being helpful. Let's see, what am I saying? Tim C. Screen.
Tim, look, this is what it's ranked on. These things right here.
Yep. Oh, you're level 6, so am I.
Yeah, right on. But see, it's like, fix map marker, fix a because people are spamming. And when these people are spamming, I went in and changed it. See how we got different wings, and you go in and create different people's stuff and correct spammer stuff. It's fun.
Yep. And when you are level 6, it's more likely that your marks will be accepted automatically than it is if you're level, whatever the lower levels are.
The cool thing about that is when I help small, medium businesses, I can go in and create a listing for them on Google My Business, and I don't have to use a phone number. It'll just click and it'll approve it by email and stuff. So because I've got enough, plus from Google Map Marker, from the whole thing with that stuff going on. But no, the Google Guide stuff, yes, it makes me a lot easier to make edits. But I think the other part of it is you start to learn how people think about stuff, specifically when people start complaining on a client's account. I think that's kind of the thing we think about in SEO is, what are we going to do about the bad reviews, right? No, that's
all right. Real quickly, because I want to move on from, we got a lot to go through here, so I want to get past this. So in tandem with that, I guess to a degree, is the land of mobile, which I don't think is really any of the local guys, but so obviously you've got AMP and you've got this whole mobile, like, you know, so I guess my question is how seriously does everyone take you implementing with client to clients? Are you sitting and watching it, or, you know, leaning to it? Now take it easy. Don't all talk.
A lot of that broke up.
A lot of what you just said was gibberish, Dave.
Sorry, man. Thing is sort of local, but not local. Is mobile first index? How I'm taking it? Are they advising it and watching it?
I couldn't hear that very well. It sounded like you were asking about whether people are getting serious about doing something in regards to mobile first, and also maybe about AMP. I'm not sure.
All right, well, I'm trying again. Can you hear me now?
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. Last 3 edits I wrote, Dave, had AMP in them. So definitely.
Yeah. See, the AMP, you know, the mobile first thing, I've been reading a bunch of it. I'm not even sure. I think that's more of it's almost from what I've heard a few Googlers say, like an SEO made up thing. It's not really what they seem to be calling it.
As I recall, mobile first was a term that first came from Google.
Yeah, well, someone disputed it the other day, or somewhere I was reading it. It's not. It's more of one of our things.
No, it's definitely from Google.
All right.
And I would see it.
Somebody want to define it?
Mobile first index stuff.
It's all going to boil down to user experience. So if they have a good experience, whether it's mobile or not, that I think is going to be the driving factor. And I believe Google probably heavily promoted that, just knowing that that's where search is going. So they wanted these local customers to, you know, get their act together.
No, Google was indexing mobile sites differently from desktop sites. For instance, content hidden behind accordion folds wouldn't get indexed on desktop sites, but would get indexed on mobile sites. So they said, we're going to start indexing all sites as if they're mobile sites, which meant that hiding stuff on behind accordion folds on desktop sites was, again, something you could do, as opposed to something you shouldn't do, and the content wouldn't have gotten indexed. They changed around the way they did that. It's something that Google was trying to inform site owners about, because they were making changes like that with content hidden behind accordion folds. If you don't make people aware of those types of changes, you're going to have sites that don't get indexed well.
They've kind of fixed that a bit now, though.
No, that because obviously means that it's a ranking factor. The Google couldn't just possibly be talking about it for ease of indexing.
I messed up my article. I got to go edit it. 2017 was the year of mobile, period. I tell you that.
Yeah, well, every year since about 2007 has been, so, you know.
Well, no, this was the first year that mobile surpassed desktop searches everywhere.
Yeah, except for a lot of my clients. So, again, back to my Facebook answer, it depends.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Always.
Especially, I see I can see Tim nodding his head there, because, again, the older your demographic, the less likely that is. Like, I have some clients with demographics that are older, and no, desktop is still 65, 75%. No, again, no, it depends, Steve. You can shake your head all you want, son. It still fucking depends, bro. And speaking of depends, that is my older demographic. They're wearing depends. But, you know, it's totally different.
All right.
Let's don't get personal.
Okay. Hey, just a thought. All right. I'm an old person. I need glasses. I use voice search. I want to search for someone that does eye surgery in a particular location, and I use voice search. Mobile first is important because that's going to be my top 3 in the map listing, which is going to be normally what pops out in voice search for old people.
But again,
if you're
I still look at analytics, and now for anyone thinking I'm making a carte blanche statement, understand that just because your analytics says 65% desktop, 35% mobile, you might not be optimized for mobile. That's why it looks like that. But you still got to understand that. But no, I still have lots of, I still have, once you've optimized for both, I could still look at that and see, what percentage is coming from where. Like Steve Gerenser, you and I were talking earlier today about that one client with the high-end product, right? That stuff they might discover on mobile, but when they actually convert and the lead comes in, it's almost always from the desktop. I mean, sure, they might discover it. Attribution might be elsewhere as far as, social or mobile or whatever. But when they actually go to make an order, when they actually, come to, that's almost.
I think that's what you have to do when you're making those kind of decisions, is not look at how much mobile traffic do I have, where are people converting. You'll find massive differences between where they convert and how they discover you. Because
discovery and conversion tend to be the other way. Yeah.
So many people are just browsing and screwing around on their phone. Like, it's unbelievable. You go and sit with 6 people now, 4 of them, their heads are buried in a frickin' phone. It's like mental. Like kids, they're addicted to these things. It's worse than drugs. I mean,
my great grandsons are addicted to my adult grandchildren's phones. It's insane. The 3 and 5-year-old, they were here last night. They were on mommy and daddy's phones.
Oh, what? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking. I had to look at my phone a second. I'm 46.
Oh, you're a young fella around here, son.
Generation X.
When Steve was talking about old people, I'm thinking, talk into a phone. Yeah, I got a phone over there. I can talk into it. I don't even know what a mobile phone is. I've never owned. Well, I owned one and I used it.
Let me give you one secret, Terry. Terry, let me give you one secret. What is a mobile phone? A tax write-off, because we're in search. That's what they are to me.
The other thing is, a lot of people think mobile, right, includes a lot of stuff that it doesn't.
Keith, I ask my kids to do a search task every once in a while on their phones so I can observe how they do it. That's R&D, boy. That's R&D. The whole year is written off right there. That stuff's gone. Not paying for that. It's coming off the old tax ledger. So, yep. Same with my 4K TV, by the way, because you never know these days. People might be searching and looking at my clients' websites and things like that with their 4K TV. So I had to have one of those, which is another tax write-off.
Of course. I think we're talking about conversion versus discovery. A lot of these decisions we're talking about that consumers make are really, really life and death important. And they're going to do those on a desktop because they need to see more and understand more than they can get on a mobile device. You're not going to pick out a heart surgeon or an eye surgeon, really.
Well, your money or your life. Like that's, one of those Google Rater things, right? Your money or your life. Things to do with your health and your money and things like that. I do agree. I think a lot of those kind of sites, if that's your conversion points, tend to, like I've got clients in all realms, but I do see in your money or life areas that desktop is more prevalent.
The other thing is, the difference is to surf around on a phone is difficult. It's not an easy thing. If I want to look at all the information about something, I'm going to go home to my desktop and look at it there. I'm sure that's what people do.
If you can afford to have a desktop,
Right. Well, because what Bill, I think Bill might be intimating here is part of the obsession with the mobile.
From stores. People are doing searches from stores too. Sometimes it's product searches, but it's from You know, should I buy this? Should I buy something else? Let me see what else is available.
Or look up
and
reviews.
also a lot of people compare prices in store. That's huge.
Yep. Dude, my wife does it. My wife still uses QR codes or anything she can get a hold of when she's in there. She's like scanning them and popping up to see what else around the neighborhood's got the same product.
Yeah.
Yeah, very common.
I think
people don't take lists to
so again, my default answer to SEO still works in this. It depends. It really depends. And people ask such simple SEO questions in these groups these days. And again, the answer is usually it depends.
Now, when it comes to home voice search devices like Echo and all the other ones, if they give those enough personality, that could change some of this.
I think that is something that is going to change a lot of things in ways that we haven't even. I was listening to a discussion on a business channel last week that basically said it could become that all these stores will end up becoming fulfillment centers, like malls and stuff would become fulfillment centers on like an Amazon type platform.
Do you remember the movie Minority Report, where Tom Cruise goes into the shopping center and the billboard reads his retinas and asks him about the clothes that he bought the week before, how well they fit?
Minority Report?
Minority Report, yes.
Great movie.
So
Scary
I'm thinking
movie.
with these speaker systems, they're listening in all the time. They hear the conversations you have. They see what you watch on TV. They listen to what type of music you play. Google is saying, no, the only time those things listen is when they're triggered by hot words. But I suspect it's more common than that. And that they hear audio watermarks from media, things that you might be watching or listening to.
It's a scary thought. It really is.
No, now they're using games to do it. Bill, mobile games you do, everything. Now they're trying to get into anything. And as long as you have your game access, your microphone, they're tracking data. Check your memory.
Good thing I don't play too many games on my phone.
Well, I mean, you know where we all play games. But anyways.
Yeah.
Well, if you think
so
about
let's
those devices are going to become part of the home in the very near future. I bet you if you look at any new home being built right now, those systems are being included.
Right. So let's get past the whole mobile and local thing a bit here and get back to just, you know, the old school SEO, whatever you want to call it.
We're looking at 2018, right? Things to come.
Yep. Yep.
Internet of Things is going to be really big. It's going to have some of the same problems that mobile does. Your refrigerator is going to be triggered by voice. Now, how much milk do I have?
Right. Or if you're cooking, recipe, or, you know.
Okay, Google.
I think they'll even to extent they're going to have cars. And
the refrigerator, please.
So does this bring us back to the application of the web kind of discussions we were having like 7 years ago? Like where everything becomes application, where it's all, you know, the apps become as important as anything else. So talking to your devices, which are going to be, I would assume, run off of apps to a degree.
I think UX is going to be basically the future of SEO. And I say that, but don't throw stones at me. But I think how the user experience is, because user experience is do I say, hey, Cortana, or do I say, okay, Google, or Siri, please help me with, you know what I mean? I think there's different.
Well, you look at the whole Google Assistant approach and what they've been talking about the last few years. It's obviously somewhere they really want to go. I mean, that becomes very prevalent, you know. And then so then you mix that in with you know what we know about personalization from like 07 onwards and 06, and you mix that in with mobile and everything else. that again, back to what Terry and I were talking about earlier, is how everything becomes personalized. Everything becomes very unique. Rank checking and all these kind of things are just dogs of the past, because each individual is going to be getting different things. You know, each individual's.
Cortana asked me last week for permission to listen in on my conversations and to offer.
Well, at least she asked.
Based upon this, right?
I know this has nothing to do with 2018, but it also keeps bringing back to something I remember writing about 10, 12 years ago. And I know we've had this discussion before, and I even noticed it with YouTube and stuff. Sociologically speaking, start to limit people's ability for discovery. Meaning, you know, if you're like politically slanted to one, you know, liberal or conservative direction, are you going to see less information from the other side of the story? You know, or YouTube. If I, you know, if I'm watching country music or searching a certain video game or whatever, it stops showing me other options that might interest me. It keeps showing me things along the same line of what I've already been searching. I get this feeling that, you know, the direction that we're in limits that discovery of alternative viewpoints to a degree. Well, I know this is totally philosophical search, has nothing to do with 2018, but it is part of going forward. But I find it, I'm noticing it more than I used to, that Google or YouTube or whatever degree, like even their algorithms, like, you know, if I go into, like, I could literally go to, and I won't mention any names, but I can go into one group that pisses me off and start yelling at people, and next time I get up tomorrow morning and my timeline's full of posts in that group, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Well, we've got like political leaders who are telling us that the news we hear on TV is fake news, that he really didn't talk to those people on that Entertainment Tonight TV segment in quite the way that everybody in the world saw, but they did. So how much fake news are you going to tolerate?
But at what point does, you know, technology and algorithms start to limit our ability to discover new things? You know, at what point does it cater to us to personalize things for us with the belief, or because we actually are interested in those things, do we stop to see other things that might be a new interest? Like discovery becomes more tailored and less discovery. Really, it's more supporting what it believes we think we want.
We've got to enter critical thought into the things we will tolerate. If the news we watch, if the search results we look at pour us into a filter bubble, which I think is the term that a lot of people are using to describe what you're talking about, you got to go other places, look for other things, use other information.
Sorry, didn't mean.
Well, you know, if I search Mexican food every day, how am I going to ever discover Italian food? Because the technology is going to keep showing me Mexican food all the time.
You could,
but that's the consequences of trying to make everything so personalized. At some point, it's over personalized. You know, I think that's why they put news in, but unfortunately, you only get one side of the story.
So if that's the case and we see it that way, does part of SEO become now truly deeply understanding your demographic and their interests?
Always has anyhow, I think.
Yeah, I know. I just mean it's not something I don't see that ever discussed too often.
So. On demographics, right?
Okay, so has anybody seen anything earth-shattering, shaking, changed how they're doing things as far as the non-mobile world SEO this year?
Apparently, I should be doing AMP pages.
Now that's back to the mobile. I'm staying with the whole standard vanilla search and desktop and what have you. You know.
Well, personally, my experience, okay, has been whenever you can get direct access to anything for Google, do it. It always ends up affecting
Schema. I know Terry, and I don't know about the rest of y'all, but
Schema. But also, I'm considering having one of those one-page websites to start the new business that I'm doing. Why? Because Google will like me. Because I stroked it. You know, it's like a woman. Just got to stroke them right, and you get exactly what you want.
I'm feeling a Billy Squire song in the edit of this.
Okay, President
Stroke me, stroke me. I'm feeling it. Okay. Schema. Anybody, you know, in rich snippets and things of that nature? Anybody playing with that any more or less this year?
I use Schema, but not for rich snippets. I use Schema because it makes all my data readable.
Yeah.
Whether Google decides to use it for rich snippets, I still get benefit regardless of whether it's a rich snippet.
It's kind of like
having to see results from everything we do, right? That makes the job much more harder than it has to be, because everything we do is positive, whether you get direct results for it, right? Because in some cases, you don't see a snip of a snippet from a non-authoritative site. It's becoming more prevalent, but you still got to have authority. So if I'm working for a client, if they don't have authority for me to tell that client that I'm going to get them a rich snippet, is probably telling them, misleading them. I should tell them it's good for their website, because then multiple search engines and anything that understands Schema can take data directly off their website and understand it that much better.
When you add the Schema for a main entity of page, you're telling the search engine exactly what your page is about, which makes it more likely your search engine, your page will show up in search results when someone looks for that.
Well, there's the difference between ranking and CTR. I mean, you know, that snippet is going to help you on your click-through, but telling the search engine what the page is about is going to help you on ranking.
Rich snippets. The main entity of page has nothing to do with rich snippets.
The difference between ranking and conversion, Doc.
Well, I'm narrowing it down to click-through rather than conversion.
Yeah,
it's like having a good meta description. That doesn't do anything for your ranking. That helps your click-through. Okay, yeah, the snippet is definitely going to help your click-through too, but it's even without the rich snippet, like Terry is saying, it's going to help you with your SEO. It's going to help tell the search engine precisely what your page is supposed to be about, or what you're trying to tell it.
There's very few silver bullets in SEO. It's always has been and always will be about doing several things right. Not doing one or two and, you know, getting a few links and you rank. It's if you do it right, you're doing all of these things, and it's an accumulation of activity.
Right? Well, absolutely these days, yeah. But there was a time way back in the day when you.
But I'm doing SEO now, not in 1997.
No, not now. No.
Right. That's
you got to do it all.
Never was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
Right.
Shut up. You're just a talking head. Okay, had to be done there, boys. Speaking of which, by the way, Doc, I call that, I still in a weird way call it a SERP. I know that's a CTR, but I still call it a SERP conversion because I'm trying to convert that SERP. So a well-written meta description, it helps you to get that click. It's not a ranking factor, but it still helps pull them to the site. So whatever. I have been playing with this, you know, new links in meta descriptions of late, and there's an evil little side effect that I've been enjoying. That now that I can fill it up with more space, I can push competitors below me below the fold. Like I've got some clients like the one you and I are working on, Doc, where we've got listing 2 and 3 for the highest term in that query space. And by bulking out both of those meta descriptions on those 2 sites, I'm able to push the guy that used to be above the fold well below it. So, which we all know helps with, you know, click-throughs and like that. So,
well, the
meta description thing's handy.
It's nice too to be able to doctor your descriptions a little bit and make
sure. The bigger you make it, man, the more it pushes shit down a page.
But hang on, yeah, unless they get truncated, okay.
Well, yeah.
So you push your important stuff up to the beginning, and then just in case it doesn't get truncated, you can add some more stuff later on. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes you can push somebody below the fold.
Yeah, Dave, not to piss on your cornflakes, but I've been thinking about this for a while. Above, below the fold, since they have added so much crap above the real organic results and pushed everything basically below the fold, that's meaningless. Sorry, that's just my belief. I hope I'm wrong if that's your strategy, but I think those kind of things, users seem to adapt to annoying things like that.
Yeah, Terry, if they adapt by scrolling down automatically from that first screenful, then there is still the below the fold after that.
There is no fold. What are you talking about? That's it. There is no fold. I want online shoe stores. They give me address.
Get what I'm saying, right, Dave? I don't think it makes as much. I don't think it's as important as it once was.
All right. So what else?
To that is that I don't think Google would do something that reduces how many results people will be able to easily.
Okay, so what about a Google standpoint? In the last little while, I've seen a couple of things. Well, three. One is something I've been talking to a lot of guys privately in the dojo about, which is the rise of the crap hats is well and truly on again. You know, back in 2010, they started doing the manual penalties, penguins, and pandas and penguins, all this shit. And we did see a bit of a change as far as the public conversations about bullshit. The last little while, obviously, since I'm back doing these shows again, is because this fucking shit's coming back and it's on the rise. But I've also now started seeing Google on a two-front thing. There's been more talk of devaluing links, about manual penalties from Google's side. And they're also starting to do these, videos like Matt used to do. John Mueller's been taking over that mantle lately, which is cool. I don't mind, because anything I can point a client to or whatever is a bonus to me. So is it just a coincidence that this is the last few months more Google activity on this front? Is that a coincidence because of the rise of the crap hats again, or where do we see this little battle going? I get the feeling that in 2018 we're going to see this battle pick up like we did in 2010 and 2011 because it's starting to happen again. So I'm assuming they've caught.
Well, also, Dave, as we have discussed in the past, Google could be in the discovery mode. Like, why would you knock down one PBN after another when you can internally already stop counting the links? Like,
which is what they've said. Thank God, dude. You and I were saying that. You and I were saying that 10 years ago, and now that's what they're saying. But
well, the flaw in their logic is they have no way to actually know how much benefit they're getting from the PBNs, unless that's all they're doing.
Which is right. Essentially what Mueller said, is you could be wasting your time. You'll never fucking know.
Right. And that's true because Google isn't dumb. Like, how do you think they nailed so many people with Penguin? And pre-Penguin, they hit a few. Discovery mode, man. They know, like, I personally believe they know all of them. Like, those leave footprints that I can find it. If you and I can find it, a search engineer can find it, right? It's illogical to think that you can outthink a guy from Stanford, because if you could, you would not be doing SEO.
Right. You went from your
much more lucrative things.
You went from your job at McDonald's to a fucking internship at an SEO agency. Now you're as smart as a Stanford fucking grad. Okay, all right.
Right.
Well, the other thing to think about too is Google doesn't have to be right all the time. All they have to do is have enough acceptable losses that they appear right to their potential advertisers. Okay, I'm sure that they don't even hope to be right all the time when they're
no. And again, they will turn a blind eye in the name of search quality. I mean, again, I used to sit around and talk to Matt back in the day, and you know, he'd bring up ideas to combat spam better, and you know, Amit Singhal would be like, yeah, maybe later, you know, like,
yeah.
you know. So, but again, it's been on the rise, and I see a year of more, you know, like since Matt left, there hasn't been that public voice, that awareness, and there has been many spankings, and I get a feeling that we're going to see more of that, because if they don't rein it in, it's going to be 2010, you know, pre-2010 all over again. So
it already is.
But
we're there.
Lot,
yeah.
We're seeing a lot more of that.
Are you?
Google has started really being more aggressive on the people who are taking advantage of Google My Business accounts. People who are starting to launch, quote, services for Google My Business. And some of the white hat rooms that I hang out in, people are saying, oh, I just had 20 of my sites get hit, or I had 12 of my sites get hit. They're being far more aggressive at policing local right now than they ever have in the past. And for those people who thought that they were able to get away with it because Google was looking the other way, they're all going to get wiped out. I mean, there's a guy right now I saw in one of the groups for $19. He'll get you all your Google My Business listings. You don't even need an address. He'll provide the addresses, the phone numbers, the whole bit.
Right, and because they're leading so much towards mobile, Android, and Google Assistant and shit like that, then that, you know, they're definitely probably going to watch that more so than the desktop stuff. So yeah, I just feel that there's some spankings and some hard looks going to be coming from this year.
When I logged into my
the type of spam that Steve is talking about is harder for them to actually pick up the algorithms. Like from the link graph, they can figure out what's going on with people.
But I've read a lot of smart patents and papers on that stuff, and there is a focus on it. The way, you know, you didn't see those patents 5-10 years ago, you know. So always go ahead, Keith.
When I logged into my Google My Business account, it specifically asked me, who am I? It wanted to know, am I a marketing consultant, am I an SEO agency, am I a local business? Because many times when I walk in the door of a small business owner, I just, you know, willingly help sign up their business, right? Because if I can claim their profile, pimp it out, assist them, and I just basically be, you know, the agency helping them to make sure that their information is correct. But it just happened 2 days ago. Google said, who are you? Right? Because I've got 50 Google My Businesses. They're all legit, no penalty, but they are, you're right, there are on top of that, and there has been some crackdown because of just people are trying to fake it, right? You've got to be genuine. And until the day when Google will go to the state and verify your business license, that is going to be a huge, huge blow to local.
Hey, Keith.
Sure.
A good solution to your problem, add all your clients as owners of those accounts. You can still manage them all, but Google will let you back off the spam thing and quit asking who you are.
Yeah, and I typically do. A lot of these are, but I mean, I initially set them up, right? And so I think Google's just watching, saying, okay, you're Google level 5. We think you're real, but we don't know. And if you play the white hat and you're genuinely helping people, you're not going to get penalized.
Right. They're not looking beyond the individual account that you're dealing with to the whole aggregate of all your accounts and everything that all your clients may be doing. They're not going to penalize you for something one of your clients is doing that isn't quite right and have an effect all your accounts.
And some of you guys may be aware, it was about 18 months, 2 years ago, if you went into your Google My Business, so you're in your business account, but then you went out to the Google environment, went in the search entity, Google Photos, even though you might have 20 different accounts you manage, it identified you as Joe Blow's tire shop. And then you could go unscrupulously leave a review as Joe's Tire Shop for another business. Obviously, someone made Google aware of that, and they shut that down about a year ago. But it's fun, and as long as you are doing the right thing, and and to me, I just want to, genuinely help people, right? And they say, "Oh, Google's calling me. Google's calling me." I'm like, no. Google is not calling you. Did you write them a check? Well, guess what? It's a salesperson calling you.
There you go.
Google doesn't call you in 24 years, Google's only existed since what, 96, 97? So, okay, in 20 years of doing SEO, nobody from actual Google has actually ever called me. Now, they've connected with me on LinkedIn, and a guy said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about your PPC clients," because he knew, I had some big clients at the time. But other than that, Google will never contact you if you're an SEO or
it's kind of like the IRS. They don't call you.
Exactly.
If they do, you got a problem.
If they do, it's somebody pretending to be them is what it is.
Well, you got a big problem.
I've got over the last week, I've probably had 8 or 10 calls. I'm from Google. Click. Or
actually, the IRS will call you, but it almost always comes after they've tried to send you a series of letters and you haven't answered. So that's a bad spot to be in, believe me.
Yeah.
And sadly, they target Chinese restaurants, Mexican restaurants, people where there's a language barrier. They think they can scam them. They obviously know how important it is to be on the Google map, but it's con artists are always going to be out there, and that's what salespeople do, right? They're looking for their foot in the door, so they use Google.
Actually, business owners usually have business credit cards, which usually have higher limits. So therefore, carders are going to start targeting there first.
Yeah, so people don't realize that anybody can phone up and say they're calling for Google. Or not to identify themselves, but can say, we'll get you, we'll buy ads for you, basically.
Well, I engaged one here a couple of weeks ago who said, "My name is Mike something. I'm the Google rep." And I said, "Wait a minute. What department of Google are you representative of?" He said, "Well, I'm the assigned Google rep for your area." Okay. Well, I finally got him to admit the fact there's some marketing agency, and within their office, he has been assigned the title of Google rep as opposed to being a Yelp rep or some other idiotic internal title, but this is the way they do it. And unfortunately, a lot of people will fall for this crap.
Yeah, but if you report them to Google, Google will slap them around.
This is true.
If you can really figure out what their actual number is, usually it's some kind of a spoofed number.
Well,
reporting to Google.
Nowadays, with the telephones, I get calls every day from the same company.
Every day. I got a couple calls yesterday.
Because they switch the number every time they call.
On my iPhone yesterday, I got a call. Of course, it shows on the screen the number that's calling, which I did not answer. I let it ring out and cut off. And then I get the automated message right above it that, "Hi, I tried to reach you and was unable to. If you'd like to call me back." And it gives, it's originating from a second number, and they offer a third number. So one call generated 3 different phone numbers.
It's the voicemail as a text thing, right, Doc?
Exactly.
There is an app that will block those callers.
Oh, yeah.
At least one, yeah.
It's called a Google Pixel.
Well, what I would rather is that the telephone company quit giving out the numbers is what I would like.
I block those when I get them. And I've wondered, by now I probably have blocked thousands or hundreds at
Yeah.
least. And I wonder what happens to all that number information.
You could be blocking real numbers.
I get so many junk calls. I'm willing to accept that risk.
If they don't leave a message, screw them.
What's that?
And if people call and they don't leave a message, screw them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah, if you had an answering machine, I don't even have an answering machine.
And then you get those that if you do answer, you get 3 seconds of silence, then it cuts off. They just were just verifying the number,
Right.
Yeah.
Marketers ruin everything.
James has his old
marketer. That's a dialing machine.
Well,
James has his old Raven swag shirt on, man. He just made a comment in the SEO Dojo Skype room. James, he said, I got a swag shirt from Raven that's older than most SEOs' careers.
Love it.
I have that same shirt, dude.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Well, to be honest, boys, I see the year ahead just as another good one for myself. I don't think I'm adapting a whole bunch. There's a couple of things I want to start playing with more. Some AMP and Schema and stuff. But generally speaking, Google just keeps coming around. Like we used to always call it future proofing, meaning that, part of I don't just sit around reading patents and papers like Bill introduced me to 10, 12 years ago because it's cool. I do it because I want to know the mindset of an engineer. I want to know the mindset of the industry of information retrieval. I always want to see where it's going so that when I'm doing work for a client, I'm not doing good things today, but I'm doing good things that'll be just as good tomorrow or the next year or the year after that. And so how I've been applying things, all I see is good things happening that just keep continually increasing, rankings, traffic, and revenue for my clients. So, I don't see a lot for 2018 that I'm going to go out there on a limb and say, well, you got to go to this. It's all brand new. And, I think a lot of what I'm doing is just slowly coming around and becoming more effective as Google becomes wiser and more effective. I don't really see myself changing what I do a whole lot. I've added new things to my audits. I've added new approaches to what I'm doing because I get new access to data. Screaming Frog gets better or Search Console gets better. I have new data points that I can integrate into what I'm doing, but I don't see any fundamental changes in how I'm doing stuff.
Dave, I think the one thing that changes is that there's more and more stuff that you just have to do. The table stakes keep getting bigger and bigger, like Schema in the last couple of years. That's something that you just got to do, and yet
it depends. It's my carte blanche answer right now.
Yeah.
If you're not in an industry where Schema is applicable, fuck, it's not a carte blanche answer. We can't just tell people let's go do it. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely more important.
If there's no one else doing it, there's no loss in your industry.
I'm still with Terry.
You're the only one doing it, so you get the benefit. That's a big if. Nobody can say definitively if that has any effect on rankings at all. Click-through rates and other and rich snippets, yes, but overall, just adding Schema, no one knows for sure if that adds.
I'm going to go here in a limb, and one of the best things Terry taught me 10 years ago when I met him was the concept of SERP out. And what that means is don't sit there looking at tools. Don't just stare at Screaming Frog. Don't just look at Search Console. Don't look at Majestic. Fucking type the thing in and go look. Or somebody in your target region, go look. Understand what that search result looks like. What is going on there? And I, Terry, just like we've been playing with for years, I like playing with universals. You know what I mean? If it's, is there a Google News there? Is there Google Images there? Is there a carousel there? Is there video universals? What is in that search result? And that's something I still to this day like to play with. And you don't really see it ever talked about, Terry. Still to this, you and I have been talking about this shit for years and still no one does. Terry and I, we were playing one day and we're like, well, there's no video universal here. So your normal SEO brain would say, well, don't bother with video because there's no universal there. What did we do? We said, fuck it. We went and played with video. Made a video that targeted that phrase, and guess what, boys? 3 days later, there was a video universal at the third spot with our fucking video in it. Number one.
And when that started getting
universal there doesn't mean that
able
Google
to
doesn't
get
want
another video into the same search.
Yep. It can be done, boys. And just because there isn't a universal there doesn't mean Google doesn't want one. It just didn't have the content to put one there.
But one thing I did notice, Dave, when we first started that, it worked really well. But up until a little while ago, I found that search started getting what I call very localized, where it wasn't just the local pack that was all local. It was like you could go 30, 40 deep before you started getting stuff outside of the geographic location that you looked at in the organic results. I found now with some recent changes that Google has made, I found aggregators in local packs. Now that shouldn't happen by rights, but it happens because I can show you also a local pack that is totally disambiguated, meaning it's got all three of the different entities that it could be in the local search, and they all aren't transactional sites. It's very weird what has happened recently in local. To me, in some spaces, location and distance.
So, again, I think my point is for SEOs looking for new angles, new things to do, you still got to look at universal elements. And for anyone who's not that savvy, universal elements are like Google News, Google Images, Google Videos, stuff that gets inserted into a search. And if you haven't tried playing with them, you should.
Well,
I mean, don't be limited.
And
especially video.
When you do search, I didn't figure out that they were disambiguating search until I found one that was disambiguated and said, hey, I've never seen this before. When they disambiguate a search, where we all normally think plurals are the same results, they aren't. They're vastly different. For instance, you do a search for Jaguars and all you get is the football team. Whereas if you do a normal search for a Jaguar, you get mostly cars and a couple of Jaguar the animal inclusions. It's really
you should try. You should try. Dude,
you talked about it. I talk about it a lot.
Dude, you should mix it. You should mix it. You should try. Where can I find a Jaguar?
Pardon me?
It tells you. You should try. Where can I find a Jaguar? See if it gives you a dealership or it tells you to go to South America.
Also, in the case of a Panther, the disambiguation was on the hockey team and the football team.
Oh, yeah, the big cat. I never thought of that one, Panther. Right.
Yeah, that was even more interesting that they disambiguated it that way. And the animal wasn't even a part of the...
but there's the thing. I'd like to get somebody to search that from Florida and get someone to search that from South America and see what happens.
Yeah, that could make a difference.
You know what I mean? Like, big difference, I'll bet you. Because one is like, I don't want to go hiking. I don't want to go hiking today. I might get eaten by a panther. Or I'm looking to watch some hockey. Where do the Panthers,
But here's the funny thing. I search for NHL standings every morning.
Yeah, do you see Google took that over?
It used to be standings every morning.
Used to be NHL.com. Now Google took it over.
Oh yeah, now I don't even have to leave Google, and I can get all the schedule, everything, right off of the search.
No click searching for the win, right, Bill? Yep, Orion effect. It's the Orion effect, boys and girls. If you know what the fuck that means,
you know what? To me, right? I don't get upset by those things. When I see them, I actually think that's a good thing. Because in the end, whatever is good for the user is good for us.
All right, kids, I'm going to shut this down. We're an hour and a half in. Anybody wants in the green room, give us a message, because that's where the real dirt happens. We sit around and talk nasty about all you while you're not listening. And we pass around the real dirt. So we're going to go back off into the green room. So let's say goodbye, everyone, and tell them what you're up to the next little while, if anything, because some of us have no lives. Mr. Bill, you're going first again.
Okay. I'm going to celebrate the new year. I'll find a way to do that and get ready for it.
Oh, have no fear. I'll put a hangout together, and I'll just send you a link, and we'll just sit around. And you don't drink, do you?
Not too much.
All right, so I'll do all the drinking for you. We'll get together on New Year's Eve and have a couple.
Is there a too much?
Yes, there is, Doc. I don't know what it is. I have not found it yet, but I am working really hard at it. So.
For me, it would be the first one.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely. Chris, you quiet bastard. What are you up to over the next while?
I think I'm going to try some crap hats. Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, we got you, Chris.
Yeah. Watching people argue with Bill.
Chris is one of the new guys, by the way, folks. Guys that I met in one of those unnamed crazy fucking groups, and brought him into our SEO crowd because he seemed like a smart guy and he was not learning good habits. So I brought him into our little family and stuff, and it's pretty good. He's doing good. He was having dreams last night about killing someone over SEO or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Don't ask about that, mate. It was just
a really
okay.
So apparently, he wanted to kill something that's something to do with SEO. So.
You know, them stupid
You're
questions.
Officially addicted.
Like, you know, how do I add links into Moz that are not showing up? You know, stuff like that.
All right.
I read some.
Doc, Mr. Sheldon, sorry, Mr. Campbell, what are you doing over the next little while, if anything?
Oh, just trying to get through the holidays, get it behind me, get into January, want my clients to come back to work so I can get back to work. And doing my best to bolster the economy by keeping the liquor stores healthy.
And everyone, Doc is my resident copywriter, so if anyone needs some quality articles written, be sure to go to him, because the more business he gets, the cheaper my rates become. Keep him busy.
Yeah. Now, like Chris, now you're dreaming.
Yeah, well, you gotta try, man. James.
Yes, sir. I'm going to bring in the new year with the family, and right now I'm working on writing a new showcase/gallery plugin for WordPress that actually uses schema markup. Oh my God!
Excellent.
Nice. Let us know when it's done. We'll throw it up there.
If I were you, I would go for regular WooCommerce, because every plugin I've seen that does schema does it very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got product requests there, James. Make a note of that one. Keith, my friend, good to meet you. Good to see you. Hopefully you'll be back. Let everyone know what you're doing the next while. You speaking anywhere, writing anywhere, or you just stand under the radar?
Yeah, just gonna eat some cheese, I think, and some wine, champagne. That's about it.
Very nice. Terry, need we ask?
I'm finishing up a post on ambiguous query spaces and how I think they're affecting local. And I'm building a few sites based on Bootstrap and PHP, using WordPress components without using actual WordPress. So I don't have a bunch of crap, but I get to use all the parts of plugins.
Are you stripping the car down and just keeping the good parts?
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Steve G.
Yeah, Steve.
You're muted, Steve, so we'll never know what the fuck you're up to, man.
Sorry. Yeah, this weekend I'm just going to be practicing more with the smoker, doing some bacon wrapped pork tenderloins. Should be amazing. And along with the normal first of the year marketing stuff that's coming up, I have my first paying client for the woodworking side of the business.
Yes.
It's an awesome thing.
Steve is getting away from us finally. For those who don't know our channel and our people, Steve's secondary pastime has been woodworking for quite a while now, and he's branching out to find something that's actually peaceful to do and less stress-free, so he's actually got a paying gig making some stuff, so that's awesome.
You cutting the wood on the plantation there, Steve?
Actually, next year we're getting our own sawmill, so yes, we will be cutting our own wood here on the property.
He was just joking. He just got suckered on that one. Wow.
Oh,
nice.
no, it's cool. And then, yeah, wood's nice because when it fights back with you, you just set it on fire and move on to the next piece.
We got
can't really do that.
Steve,
which is exactly what I'm planning to do with the SEOs out there right now, but okay, you know.
We got to remember the fact that because Steve likes to fish, he went out and bought a big piece of land and built his own goddamn lake and stocked it.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Well, yeah, I wish I could build my own search engine. All right, Mr. Paisley.
Countdown New Year's Eve in Los Angeles. 8-hour layover in Las Vegas tomorrow night, and then February 1st, Gary V and George W. Bush in Houston.
Well, I'll have to harass you on Xbox at some point. Tim, what are your plans over the next while? You're muted as well, so we'll never know.
It's so easy to fix when somebody else does it. Yeah, just bring in the new year, and yeah, I'm doing a lot of business planning. I've got to figure out how to kind of jump up to the next level here, scale up a little bit. So I got the businesses there. I just need to figure out how to do it without bringing on employees. Employees in California equals death.
Yeah, yes.
That's not just California. That's anywhere.
Yeah, so that's
all right,
that's
folks.
the goal.
Well, it has been a pleasure. As always, we'll see you next Friday, and I think at some point, we're probably going to start up the odd Search Geek speech. For those who didn't know, Fridays we kind of just talk about the news and stuff. Series of hangouts that were topic specific, and there's been some topics that are coming up a lot in Facebook groups, some topics that people keep asking me about or talking about in the dojo, and so I think once in a while, maybe once a month or something, I'm not going to go too crazy with it, we might actually start doing some topic specific stuff, and so that's about all I can think of for the new year. Pleasure as always. Don't have to hang up, by the way, for you new folks. We're just getting off the air. We're not going anywhere. For anybody who wants in the green room, once again, you want to come and talk the real dirt. This is where we give up the secret sauce.
No more
links
room.
to all our PBNs and all our evil black hat goes on behind the scenes. You don't get that.
Szechuan sauce. Szechuan sauce. It's
yeah, for you.
I got to jump. We got company downstairs. I may be back in a bit.